Hi guys, in last class I discussed about charging by induction. Now I am going to discuss about basic properties of electric charge. These points are very important to understand further concepts. We know that charge is an elementary property like mass. If charge is an elementary property, what are the other properties of electric charge? The first one is charge is additive in nature. The charge is additive in nature. Additive, it means if you have charge Q1, Q2, Q3. So to know the what is the total charge, total charge is nothing but simply you can add sum of these three charges. The total charge is Q1 plus Q2 plus Q3 and so on. So it means on a system, if you have n number of charges, on a system if you have n number of charges, so those charges you simply add algebraically, you simply add. So then we can say charge is an additive property. It's having additive in nature. This example, if a system consists of charges -1, +1, -2, -3, +4 and -5, and the total charge is algebraic sum of the individual charges. If you can add everything, the final is what is the end result equal to -1 is the leftover charge on the system. So this property is known as charge is additive. We can add up charges. The second property is charge is conserved. So this is a very important property. Charge is remains constant. According to law of conservation of charge, charge neither created nor destroyed. It can be transformed to one form to another form. So if you are rubbing during the process of charging, so from the one object to another object, the charge gets transferred. So how much amount of charge will be losing? Suppose you take an example of glass rod with a silk cloth. If you rub a silk cloth on the glass rod will lose electrons. But silk cloth gains electrons. So the amount of the electrons lost by the glass rod is exactly equal to the amount of the electrons gained by the silk cloth. So here the electrons just transferred from one system to another system. So the total charge of the system remains the constant. That is, the total charge of the isolated system is always conserved. It remains constant. And it is not possible to create or destroy the net charge carried by any isolated system. So we cannot create a charge and we cannot destroy charge. Now the third property, very important property, quantization of charge. Charge is quantized. What does it mean? Suppose if you rub a glass rod with silk cloth, so we know that electrons gets transferred from glass rod to silicon protein. So here the number of electrons transferred is a whole number. It means we cannot say only half electron transferred or the 3/4 electrons transferred or 1/4 electrons transferred. So those things we cannot say. So when charge transfers from one object to another object, it's always an integral multiple of the charge of an electron. So this is the first formula I am introducing to in this chapter. So charge Q equal to Ne. Here Q is nothing but charge. Here N equal to plus or minus 1 or plus or minus 2 or plus or minus 3. It is an integer. And E is nothing but the charge of electron. It's having the value 1.6 times 10 power minus 19. That is the value of charge of electron. So there is no possibility of exchanging half charge, quarter charge and 3/4 charge. Charge is always exchanges as integral multiple of n number. So this concept is known as charge is quantized. Charge is a fundamental unit. So we need to quantify charge. Coulomb is the SI unit of charge. The SI unit of charge is Coulomb. The SI unit of charge is Coulomb. The SI unit of charge is Coulomb. We know that Q equal to Me. If you want to calculate how many electrons are there in 1 coulomb? Question. How many electrons in 1 coulomb? By using above the formula Q equal to Ne, 1 coulomb equal to N number of electrons. Charge of an electron 1.6 times 10 power minus 19. Calculate N equal to 1 by 1.6 times 10 power minus 19. If we can do this calculation, we will end up the charge 1 coulomb contains 6.24 into 10 power 18 charges. It's a huge number. 1 coulomb contains a huge number of charges. It's equal to 6.24 times 10 power 18. So this we can calculate by taking the value Q equal to Ne. Now let's discuss a very important concept, that is, we know that opposite charges attract each other. Suppose if we can keep a positive charge, a negative charge at a distance, they start to attract because that's their property. If they start to attract, they are exerting a force on each other. How much force do they exert? on each other. So we need to calculate the force between these two charges. We need to calculate the force between these two charges. To calculate that, we will use Coulomb's law. Coulomb's law states and gives the amount of the force exerted between the charges. It's a very simplest law. First, suppose if you separate 1 coulomb of charge, this is the 1 coulomb of charge and this is the 1 coulomb of the charge, separated at a distance r. So here r is the radius. So separated at a distance r. If 1 coulomb of charge kept at a distance r, there is a force between them. The arrow mark represents the amount of the force and the direction of the force. So that is the quantity of the force and that is the direction of the force. Suppose if you increase the quantity of the force, one side 2 coulomb and another side 1 coulomb, but the distance is same. Coulomb's law states that the force also increases because the amount of the charge now becomes 2 coulombs. Automatically, the amount of the force will be increases. Now, if you increase furthermore, so the force is also increases. If you increase furthermore, the force is also increases. Finally, we can conclude that force is directly proportional to product of the charges. The force between these two charges is directly proportional to their product or magnitude of the charges. And one more important to discuss that, suppose, take an example, here is my light source, so this is the light source, and we kept an object at a distance of the light source. If you move the object further, you can see the intensity on the object is decreases when it is moving far away. So there is a relation between the intensity on the object and the distance. So that is due to because of the amount of the light is falls on the object. If the distance increases, the intensity falls on the object decreases, inversely proportional, because the amount of the light falls on it. So the distance versus the area of the object and the intensity of the object, if you can bring a relation, so the distance and intensity are inversely proportional. So inversely proportional to square of the distance. Similarly, the gravity also works same. If you move away from the earth's surface, the gravity on earth decreases. How much it is decreases? It is decreases on square of the radius. So the gravity at initial position decreases r square if r is the distance between you and the earth's surface, and at here the final position where you are doing, so the gravity is decreases 4 times r. It decreases 4 times r. So this is known as inverse square relation. This we already studied. Similarly, for the electric force, If you keep two charges, this is the charge at a distance of this one, the distance is r. If the charge is moving, the force between these two charges is also decreases. How much it is decreases? It is decreases by the factor of 1 by r square. So force is inversely proportional to the square of distance. We can write F inversely proportional to 1 by r square. By combining these two, that is, force is directly proportional to product of the charges and force is inversely proportional to distance between them, we will combine these two expressions and we will write finally force is directly proportional to Q1 Q2 by R square. Here proportionality symbol, and remove the proportionality symbol and make it equal, we will replace with a constant k. So this is known as proportionality constant. K equal to known as proportionality constant or Coulomb's constant. So the final F equal to K times Q1 Q2 by R square. So this is only known as Coulomb's law. F is directly proportional to Q1 Q2 by R square. So the value of the K equal to 8.98 times 10 power 9 Newton meter square per Coulomb square. Finally, Coulomb's law states there is a force between the two charges. The force is directly proportional to product of the charges and the force is inversely proportional to square of the distance between them. So here F equal to force, units in newtons, and Q1 Q2 is the charge, units in coulombs, and R is the distance between them, so units in meter. K equal to proportionality constant, its value equal to 8.98 times 10 power 9. So the value of the K equal to 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught equal to 9 times 10 power 9 Newton meter square per Coulomb square. Coulomb's law states that if Q1 is a charge and Q2 is another charge, they are at a distance r. According to Coulomb's law, there is a force between these two charges. The force is directly proportional to product of the charge and the force is inversely proportional to square of distance between them. We will write together F directly proportional to Q1 Q2 by R square. Remove proportionality symbol and make it equal. F equal to, we have to replace a constant K times Q1 Q2 by R square. Here the value of the K equal to 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught. Its value numerically equal to 8.89 times 10 power 9 units Newton meter square per Coulomb square. Here one more constant is present, so that constant is epsilon naught. Here epsilon naught is known as permittivity. I will in detail talk about the permittivity. So finally, the Coulomb's law final statement, F equal to K times q1 q2 by r square, F equal to k times q1 q2 by r square. Force is a vector, so it's having the direction. So here where is the force? If these two are similar charges, so the force on each other, so they will be exerting a force on opposite in direction.